Hey guys, it's Max. How's everyone doing? A beautiful Sunday morning here in Austin, Texas. We have 3 more days left in the year. All right, well, I don't have a script. I just got up and felt like making a video, so I'll just make a video. How about that? Now, it does have a purpose, so I want to try to build a spreadsheet and take you guys along with me. So the theme of this video is we're going to backtest these high yield funds, and we're going to see how they would have done in 2022. And then we're also going to look at if you would have stuck it out past 2022, would you be ahead now? Have they been a good investment over 3 years? Were they a good investment over 1 year? Or I should say good as a, let's just say, were they a profitable investment? Let's concentrate on profitable. Good is a judgment call. It might meet your needs and not meet somebody else's needs, right? Okay, so let's get in here. So I made a special spreadsheet. All right, so we're going to get into the simulator, not the simulator. We're going to get into the backtester. Okay, so we're going to show a couple of things. First of all, we're going to test the 3-legged option trade, which is just stock plus a short call. This is totally capped. I'm going to do this to show, we're going to do this to show you guys how being totally capped works. And I'm trying to teach the theory of a credit spread, of a covered credit spread is what I'm trying to teach the theory of. I've got a lot of pushback. A lot of people don't believe that it works as well as I think it does. So I want to try to prove it with science or disprove it. We'll see what happens. Okay. So here is totally capped, and this is Coinbase. So this is the way the other funds do it. We'll run it for the past 3 years, totally capped. Oh, darn it. Oh, there. Anyway, just made just about zero. I'll probably need to restart this computer. Okay, it made zero. Lost $4,000 for the past 3 years. Now we're going to go see if the covered call spread would have saved it. Okay. Here's a way to tell if the covered call spread would save it. Ask yourself, if you bought one out of the money call every week in Coney the past 3 years, how would have you done? Just think about that position by itself, and you add that position in your head to that other, to the fully capped where you lost $4,000 over 3 years. So you're thinking, yeah, I think I think just buying a call would have at least, given me $20,000 worth of profit. So you add 20, but then you subtract the 4 that the other one lost, and you get, if we did the 4-legged spread, so the stock, which is 2 legs, and then the short call, and then the long out of the money call, how much better or not will it be? So we're going to add, let's run this back test again. I know it says Nvidia up there because that's the last price I pulled, but the back test is actually on Coinbase. Okay. So here's what we need to put in the spreadsheet. It's just going to be one of those days, it looks like. Well, I'm not going to put the fully capped total in the spreadsheet. So we're just going to look at it, though. We're going to look at the end of the year 2022. I mean, well, you could basically look right there. There it is, 12/19/2022. That's going to be the way it is on all of these. Excuse me. Option strategy is down 95%. Just buying Coinbase was down 89%. Pretty close. They were both getting murdered. So, be that as it may. Now, that's not the way that they do their options. So I'm just doing that to show you guys that this way's better, or to teach you how options. I'm trying to teach the theory of options. All right, so we're going to add one contract, and this is the 30 delta, 7 days. That means a 30 delta. It means lots of things, but one thing it means it has about a 30% chance of being in the money at expiration. That's why you call a 50% delta an at the money, because if you think about it, an at the money strike does have about a 50%. If you think the market's about just as equal to go up or down, from a mathematical standpoint, if you're doing an at the money strike, you have about a 50-50 chance of success. So a 30 strike is out of the money. It means the market's going to have to move to make it go in the money. But if it does, and God forbid, if it moves past the strike, it can really be profitable. We have to factor that into the unprofitable other 3 legs and see what's happening. Oh, gosh darn it. I messed up. You can't have 3. I'm trying to see this one: sell call, buy call, 50. Well, this one, but you have to have the deltas have to be spread out by more than 5. I have 3 that are 50. So this buy call is 30. Our spread is between the 45 and the 30. We're selling the 45 strike, which is basically just like one strike in the money. It's just exactly how Jay does SPY T's. Sell the one that's one strike in the money, go a couple of strikes beyond that, which would be the 30, delta, and then buy that one. Now let's see if this one does better or not. There's no one right way to do anything, especially in options, especially in finance. So it doesn't always do better, but I think the credit spread or the covered call spread usually does better. It does enough better that I wouldn't touch the fully capped one, but I'm just more concerned about upside than some of you guys. I'm a growth VTI and chill, baby. I'm a growth guy. Okay, so yes, it did help. Look, now the thing's profitable. So whatever, it went from negative 4,000s to positive 4,000. So the call that we added was worth $8,000, and it gave you a positive return. Now it still didn't have you were still down just as much, 96 and 88%. So that's where we're going to go right in the thing. So 96, 86, 3-year total on the underlying is $13 and $12. So look, we outperformed buy and hold. It didn't help us down here. You can't do anything about the market drop. If the market's going to drop, you're going to lose money, period. I just don't understand why people can't figure that out. I know the people that watch me every day know that, but in case anyone new's watching, if the market drops, if you're trading options from the bullish side, you may have a buffer due to the options you're buying and stuff, but due to the options you're selling, but you're still going to lose money. All right, so let's go. Let's try another one. I'm just going to round to the nearest number. Okay, so why don't we just do all of them? So let's do MSTR. How about that? You guys want to try that one? What do you think is going to happen on that one? So I wonder if I could be an affiliate for Tasty Trade. Tasty Trade is something I really believe in, and Option Strat. I want to be an affiliate for something I really believe in. Maybe I should be an affiliate for a fee-based financial planner, since I'm always telling you guys to get those. I need to look for an affiliate relationship with one of those guys. Somebody asked me in the comments last night if I knew a good one, and I gave them the name of the one my family uses, but in Oklahoma. It was my dad's old company. My dad was a financial planner for years. He sold his company probably 15 years ago, but the company he sold it to, and a lot of the people that he trained and still works there and stuff, and that's what they do. They're wealth managers. My dad started off his whole life being a CPA. If he was a wealth manager off the get-go, I would have loved that, but he wanted me to be a CPA, and I went to college and took accounting for a few years, but I just did not enjoy it. I would rather be poor and do something I enjoy. But I know CPAs can make a good living and stuff, but I just did not enjoy it. It just did not. Now, maybe I would have if I was a CPA modern society, because I would be using spreadsheets. But you guys know that I don't really like spreadsheets. But when I was in college in 1985, we used a ledger. I mean, yes, there were some computers, but there was computer labs and stuff, black and white, small 9-inch screen computers, but it wasn't. But just for basic freshman accounting and stuff, you're getting out your ledger and your eraser. Okay, so now I messed this up. I wanted to do, okay, this is totally capped. I'm sorry. This is totally capped. So we're going to do this first. So totally capped on Mr. Well, I can't get the market low here. Maybe that's something I'm not going to do anymore. We'll just do well, you can even see. Okay, well, on Mr., you left about half the money on the table doing the totally capped. Okay, you could have made twice as much. So we're going to add in by call 30 delta. See how much better you would have done. Look at this. You outperformed. No, you did outperform by call. Surely not. The orange line's above the white line, which generally means that. Now, buy and hold still made 900,000. You made 600. You made a little bit more. Your max drawdown was way less than buy and hold. I think it's safe to say in MSTR, even though you didn't do well in 2022, it was the call spread is better than the call. Let's look at Meta for the past 3 years fully capped. Okay, well, at the worst point on Meta, fully capped, you were down 83. Buy and hold was only down 74. And but you even on Meta, you outperformed buy and hold even being totally capped. Okay. That tells me buy and hold wasn't that on fire. But what it went from, Meta's price went from 333 to 620. So it doubled in 3 years. Something like that, a fully capped strategy can handle, I guess. And now let's get in here. Let's add some convexity. Let's add some upside to it, right? That's what we like. That's what I like. That's why I named my show Max Convexity. I like upside. Never met upside I didn't like. I don't even care about yield. Really, I don't. What I like about it, I like these options. What I like about the yield, though, is the buffer it gives you on the downside. Also, I don't need much yield yet because I'm in early retirement. But as I'll appreciate it in my 70s as I'm unable to work, unable or unwilling to trade on my own. All right, so here we go. It did better, of course, uncapped, right? Now, at the worst part, it was down more than buy and hold. That's what you're giving up, it looks like. Because when you buy that extra option, it makes you down worse of the worst part. So think about that. Would you be willing to lose 90% of your money in 2022 and hold on to the investment because it's a good investment? You didn't know that back then, but would you be willing to hold on for it for 3 years to realize the good stuff? Don't forget, the reason you're doing this is to earn the $254 premium. Now, you don't know how the trades are going to end up. You don't know if you're going to be profitable or not, but that's what you're trying to get, the $254. As it turned out, over the course of 3 years, you ended up averaging 100 a week. That's $72,000 in premium over 3 years. And you had uncapped upside. That's the way I recommend to. That's why I'm telling you to buy YieldMax. There's no other fund that does this. Other funds keep you fully capped. Not that they can't get some upside, just like you saw Meta get some upside if the market does just the right thing. If it goes up just the perfect angle, 45-degree angle, yeah, you can do a fully capped strategy and get some upside. But all right, so now let's look at let's see how another one would come out. But so that one, once again, you would have done really bad, but you still wanted to hold on to it. It's not a bad. I'm trying to show you that the strategy wasn't bad. The market was bad. All right, let's take the next one. Let's take Apple. Let's take a fully capped Apple. Now, Apple might be one that goes up enough, but not too much that the fully capped might be all right. Might do all right. But Apple's been pretty on fire lately. I bet you the fully uncapped is going to have some extra profits, at least lately. Okay. So at the end of 2022, certainly not a place you wanted to be. Down $3,000. However, buy and hold was down. Buy and hold was actually down a little bit less than the fully capped covered call. But the fully capped covered call outperformed buy and hold over 3 years. But at the depth of the 2022, if you had done the YieldMax strategy in Apple, two things would have been true. You would have received $60,000 worth of premium, about $210 a month if YieldMax pays out all of it, which they do. But you didn't hang on to that much of it. You only hung on to $25 of it. But still, that's positive. You know, it's 11%, 72% on return capital over 3 years. Not too bad, as long as you can handle that 90% drawdown in the middle. One other thing, I don't think with Jay doing it, would really be a 90% drawdown because total profit loss. Well, right here, they have used capital. So they did this trade on $9,900 worth of capital. That's the least amount you could put these trades on. They're using synthetics, which Jay does too, but he doesn't take advantage of the synthetic leverage. He just uses the synthetic, but pays for it if it was in cash. Apple's around $250 now. If it was in cash to run 100 shares of Apple, it'd be around $24,000, $980. So your max drawdown would be about half of what this shows. If with Jay doing it, because they're fully capitalized. They aren't. If you did it yourself and like me used synthetics, yes, you would be down 30. You would be down 43%. Well, buy and hold's just down 30%. But if Jay was properly capitalized, instead of being down 43% in Apple, he'd be down about half of that because it'd be based on your return would be based on a higher number. So the max drawdown numbers are a little bit exaggerated because they're based on leverage. We'll just cut them in half to base them on if they had the stock, but still. So Apple's down 24%. Would you hold on to it another 2 years? I mean, I don't. Most people probably sell it. I'm just trying to prepare you guys. If we have a bear market, these things are going to do bad, but everything's going to do bad. I'm not saying we're going to have a bear market, but if we do, and you have APPLY, it's great of a stock as it is, and as big of a dividend as it's not a big dividend, as you get a dividend, whatever. Yeah, it's going to be down probably 25% in a bear market. You lose a quarter of your value. And Apple's one of the less volatile ones. Some of the more volatile ones, like let's go back to MSTR and figure out let's figure out the full upside version of Apple first. So we're going to buy the call. Our max drawdown was actually a little bit less. Like we say, that max drawdown number is not really right. It's about 20% if it was properly capitalized. So, I mean, this would be a good one that even somebody conservative like me could do in their own account. I would take a 20% drawdown. That's about what I'd expect. Hell, the market was down 30 in 2022, right? I'd go be down 20 all day long. Especially because the whole reason I'm doing it isn't for return. Is to get this $120 every week. It's $34,000 over 3 years. Now, some weeks I didn't get to hang on to all of it. I hung on to about a quarter of it over 3 years, but I mean, that's what I'm in it for. All right, so let's do a back test on a fully capped. Let's fully cap the next one down the list. Airbnb. Yeah, let's fully cap Abney. I don't know why I keep showing you the fully cap, because I don't do it this way. I'm just intent on, you guys just don't know how thrilled I am about them using the extra option to add the convexity and the upside and the asymmetry to it. That's when Jay did that, that was the whole, that's it, dude. It's it. And I can't believe all the other companies haven't done it. Like I said, if I was president, I would require covered call spreads. Covered calls are stupid. No, I wouldn't really require covered call spreads. But I mean, I just don't understand. If there was a fund manager that was doing covered calls instead of covered call spreads, and I was the president, I would have him into the White House and we'd have a summit, and I would get out the back tester, and I would show him. I would say, look, in Abney, here's how your stupid fully capped covered call works out. Now, granted, the good thing about this was around in 2021. Okay. The good thing, his fully capped covered call was down 69%. We know that's exaggerated. It was down about 35%. So that's not too bad. A fully capped covered call on Abney, 35% isn't as bad as some of the other ones that are down 50 and 60% fully capped. But the end of the 3 years, you're just bleeding money. Now, the good news is if you bought Abney, you'd be down too, but you'd be down a little bit less. So that's not good news. But let's uncap the upside. Let's give this thing some convexity, and let's see if we can save this. See if we can save this trade. But and probably the answer is no. This might even turn it into a bigger loser. but we'll see. We'll see. Like I say, there's nothing. Having convexity and stuff is great, but you still need the market to go up. You guys tell me which stock's going to go up next year, and I'll tell you which option trade's going to be the best to maximize it. I don't know which stock's going to go up. If you guys know which stock's going to go up, feel free to tell me. Feel free to tell me, and then I'll put on a trade that has so much convexity you've never seen this much convexity, and we'll all make tons of money. But if the stock goes down, if you add convexity, I think the lesson is on this one, you lose even more. Okay, so that's the case against adding the put spread. And that's what, if I had the summit and I brought in the guy from JP Morgan and I told him, hey, you're going to have to start doing covered call spreads, he would probably say something like this, because this is the counter to it. He's going to say, well, I'm not going to do a covered call spread on Airbnb. I'll lose my shirt. I'll get fired. All right, so let's try it on another one. But either solution didn't work on that one. So let's choose the next one that's on our list. I guess AI, because AI is a fund. We'll do a fully capped AI. I don't think this is going to be particularly good. I think I tested it last night. Okay, so on AI over the past 3 years, it's down 35% at the worst point. And over the past 3 years, it's been bleeding money, and it lost more than buy and hold. Buy and hold actually made money. So once again, you can't fix a bad stock. They always say that we'll add in I'm not even going to add it in, because I can tell you it'll make it worse. Okay, if we knew in advance the stock was going to go down, yeah, we just want to sell covered calls. So we just want to sell naked calls if we knew the stock was going to go down. We don't know that, though. I don't know that. All right, so now let's check out AMD. We'll do AMD fully capped. Ooh. Uh-oh. Let's see. Down about 35% at the worst point. Lost more than buy and hold. Let's try another one. Uncapped's not going to help that. Let's try Amazon. Amazon fully capped. Uncapped isn't magic, but if you can get a stock that's going up. Look at Amazon down $250,000 in the depth of 2022, and it recovers. It looks like. Okay, so down about 40% at the worst point. The market was down 52% though, so that's about what we'd expect. The reason we're doing this is for the 308 or the $1,000. We're trying to capture that. We ended up capturing $308 of it, about 29%. That's the reason we're doing that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a covered call spread, and this number is going to get a little bit smaller because that's still plenty of money, but we're going to add upside. So we're going to add another leg. The reason I know we're going to add upside is because the market went up in this one, so there's upside to add. If there's no upside to add, we aren't going to add upside. But on this one, I'm guessing there should be some pretty good upside. All right. Well, look at that. We outperformed buy and hold over 3 years. Now, we were still down 81% at the worst point, which wasn't really 80% because if we were fully capitalized, it'd be like 40%. Market's down 52%. So this is okay with me. Being down 40, market's down 52, but then you get this kind of return in the good times. And what's the reason we do this for? We aren't doing it to make money. This is not to add equity exposure. We might get a little equity exposure, but we're doing it for premium. Look right there. The premium instead of being 1,000 is 500, but we held on to more of it. We held on to about 75% of it. That's why I think this strategy is an all-around better strategy. Still need a stock that's going to go up. It's not going to help a stock that's going to go down, right? All right. So, but in something like 2022 where all the stocks go down, yeah, the YieldMax is not going to do great. That's why, but for me, it's such a small percentage of my portfolio because I only use it for income I need. And it's still going to be generating income. It's just going to be going through some problems. All right, what's the next one? BABA is on the list. Let's see how BABA would have done fully capped. Great. BABA fully capped. It was down 35% at the worst point. Market was down 54. Okay. And it's bleeding money the whole time. It lost 3 times what buy and hold did. Okay. Well, can't do anything about a bad stock. Let's see how much worse it is if we add in some convexity. Well, it's not any better, and we know that because the market's down. Let's see how we did at capturing income. We sold $100 worth of premium. We didn't end up capturing any of it because the market was down. So we're going to, instead of $100, we're going to take, oh yeah, that was it. That was even the one with full upside. Okay. So the one uncapped, we were probably making like $200. We weren't really making any of it, but that's what we were selling the premium for. We add this, we only get 100, but we don't really get it. So it doesn't really matter. So we don't know that though. We don't know that going in. If we knew you weren't going to make money in an investment going in, you wouldn't invest in it. Let's test Beto. Fully capped Beto. I bet fully capped Beto does not do too well. But just because it's a runaway bull market. This should be an example of fully capped, of uncapped doing a lot better, I think. About break even on Beto over 3 years. Let's see how much income we were going for. $52. So now if I add this other leg, we're going to get less than $52, probably around $25, but hopefully we'll be able to hang on to it. Okay, so no, uncapped did not help us. Yes, the premium was about half as much. So but unfortunately, the stock, I guess, Beto just hasn't been hot enough. I was associated Beto with Bitcoin. Let's do this though. Let's do the same back test and just do it over the past year. What do you think you would have done there with fully uncapped upside? The past year part I would thought would have been profitable. Yeah, the past year is profitable. Still underperformed buy and hold, even being fully uncapped. All right, so let's go test another one. Coinbase. We're going to go back 3 years on Coinbase, fully capped. I'm going to make I haven't had my protein shake this morning. I'm going to make my protein shake. Fully capped Coney, just about break even. I lost $4,000 buy and hold, made $2,000. The reason you did it is why? Because of the $600 or $569 premium you're attempting to earn. Didn't hold on to any of it over 3 years because maybe it was fully capped. So now we're going to add in there buy call, 30 strike. Did a little bit better. We did a little bit better, but why do we do this? Because of the premium. So let's go see how much less premium we went for. Instead of going for 500, we only went for 300, but we were able to hold on to a portion of it. That's not bad. Look at that profit after the election. Look at that, $7,600. That's because of that extra call. I promise you. All of these outlier ones that are down here, all of the ones that are longer than the other ones, you can see, anyway, you can kind of see where the distribution when you kind of look at it. All right, so let's do another back test. Once again on Coney, capped, uncapped, you don't want to be there in 2022. It didn't do well, but nothing does well when the market's going down. So people are always asking Jay to put Costco. That's not Costco, that's Cisco. Let's do Costco. People are always telling Jay to do Costco, and he refuses to do it because the vol's too low. So if that's the case, that these results shouldn't be too good either. And you shouldn't get if a low vol means you want to, why do I always say we're doing this for the premium? Low vol means we should have less premium, way less premium. So Costco, so this is fully capped. Let's see how much fully capped premium we have. Going for $700, that's $193,000. Going for $700 a week. Captured $100 a week, going for $700 a week, which is like $200,000 a year. Ended up capturing about an eighth of that, total profit of $26,000. Let's see how we compared to buy and hold. So buy and hold is up 32. That we underperformed buy and hold a little bit, even being fully uncapped. All right, well, let's try it. Okay, so that's Costco. That's not one, but it looks like the people that want Jay to do it are right. They could do it. It looks like there's some profit to be made in Costco. Dizzo. Let's see how Dizzo's done over the past 3 years. Well, that's not good. I don't think it's the right climate for Disney, which is kind of sad, but it just isn't. All right, so fully capped underperformed buy and hold. It lost 7,000 when it just lost 3,000. But that's not the whole story. The reason you did that is because you didn't know you're going to be fully capped. You're trying to get this $136, trying to earn $39,000 over 3 years. Now, as it turned out, you ended up losing a little bit, but that's Dizzo's fault. So let's try another one. Oh no, let's try a fully uncapped. Let's see if uncapped saves it. It won't. I don't think, but it might help it a little bit. In this recent recovery, it might have had a few, because it did, even Disney recovered after the election. The whole market did a little bit. Maybe, I think of these option strategies like a solar farm or a solar panel. If I put solar panels on my roof, okay, and then I'm trying to think of an example. Solar may not be a good example. But I put solar panels on my roof, and for some reason we have a nuclear winter. Then a bomb goes off in another part of the world, and we have clouds that come over for 5 years straight or something. Okay. Well, my solar panel is not going to work, but I can't go back to the manufacturer and sue him for giving me a bad solar panel. It's not the solar panel's fault. There's no sun. It's not the covered call spread's fault. There's no upside. It can only capture the upside that's there, right? So now, with the fully uncapped, it was down about as much as buy and hold, by about 3 times. So the capped, uncapped, it did not help on Disney. All right, so now let's do fully capped. Fully capped on the next one, which is, GDX. GDXY is one of the ones that's in YieldMax. So we'll do a fully capped. GDXY is based on golden miners. Okay, well, so you can see fully capped did really poorly, and that's because there was no upside to catch. It looks like gold just went straight sideways. Gold went from a price of 30 to a price of 34 over 3 years. Now, it wasn't a total bust because we were doing it, but pretty close. We were doing it for this $44 we were trying to capture $12,000 income over 3 years. Didn't work out, but that's why we did that. All right, so let's do an uncapped GDXY, and let's see if we have better results. But you get my thing about the solar panel farm. Is a solar panel defective if it doesn't generate power, but there's no sun out? That's the sun's fault. The reason you buy a solar panel is because you anticipate, hey, I live in Austin, Texas. We have an average of 240 sunny days a year, whatever the Chamber of Commerce says. Chamber of Commerce isn't the best source, actually. Whatever the World Almanac says, or whatever the National Weather Service says. So you can go back 10 years and you can look at the sunny days over the past 10 years, and you can say, okay, if I buy a solar panel, I think I'm going to get about 2 days out of every 3 that's sunny. Then you can put a pencil to it. That's going to generate enough power where I can run my Tesla wall or fill up my Tesla battery or whatever. That's great, right? Well, but then you put up the solar panels, and the next year, for whatever reason, the climate switches, and we only get 1 out of every 3 days sunny that 1 year. We have a bunch of hurricanes come up from the Gulf, and El Nino switches down, whatever. Okay, next year we only get 1 out of every 3 days. Okay, can I go back to the solar panel manufacturer and say, you sold me a defective? This doesn't work. You sold me a defective thing. When you hear people griping and Jay, that's what it's like. They have no idea. That's why I was supposed to have Jay on before the end of the year, but Jay's getting overexposed. I'm not going to let him come on my show so people can tee off on him and I can get 40 questions. When are you going to stabilize the NAV? I mean, he's already that. People want to ask that question. Go ask it on Rod's show. Go ask it on Oracle's show. Go ask it somewhere else. Go ask it on Coach's show. We aren't going to do that here. It's ridiculous. I mean, we've already heard him give the explanation 1,000 times. I'm not saying we aren't going to ask him. We aren't going to ask him more than 4 or 5 times. Okay. We aren't going to ask him 4,500, 45,000 times. Not at all. If you guys want to do that, go get your own station, All right. So fully uncapped didn't help on GDXY. So let's go down here to the next one. What's the next one in the thing? Google. Let's run Google fully capped, see if we can make any money. But that's my morning rant about Jay. I love Jay, but I might call him and talk to him, but I'm not going to put him on the show and just subject him to 47 questions, especially when he's just been on a week ago and answered the same 47 questions. It's, you know, I'm into quality, not quantity. When I want to talk to Jay, I'll just call him, but I'm not going to just let him, you know, let my audience tee off on him. And you guys aren't too bad, but the people will start watching when I have them on live just to answer the question. You guys aren't bad at all. All right, so let's see what happened here. So fully capped on Google, well, actually did pretty well. Actually not. We left a lot of money on the table compared to buy and hold. Okay, well, why did we do fully capped? Well, because of this $1,000 we're going for. It's $261,000. That can make some pretty good money in retirement. Okay, now we only ended up holding on to 32 of it, but that's kind of the way it goes. But that's because you didn't listen to me and you use a fully capped freaking fund or a fully capped strategy. Don't do that. Fully capped won't fix a stock that goes down, but on a stock that goes up, it's just like a sunny day on a solar panel. All right, well, looky there. See if we did better. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious by looking that we did better. Okay, so we made $65,000. Buy and hold made $81,000. Well, we left a little bit of money on the table, but not near as much as last time. But the important thing is, did we have enough money to support ourselves? We were going for 261 the other way. This way, we only went for 128 because we bought the extra call. Well, we were able to hold on to about half of it. That's so a little better results. So again, Google, I mean, the covered call spread didn't fix, it won't fix something going down, but it can benefit when something goes up. So let's go to the next one that's on the list. HD Hood, IBM, Intel, IQ, IWM. You guys want to do an IWM test? Well, I was trying to recreate what Jay does we could recreate what Jay does on SPY-T and test SPY-T. We'll test SPY-T when we get down to the SPYs. JP. Okay, JPMO. That's one, right? Let's fully cap ourselves out. I saw Coach this morning. I don't watch influencers that much, and I wondered if he quit his channel just because I haven't even seen him come up in the suggestions. But no, he's still good. I watched his show this morning. He was doing some end of year wrap up. I never see Panda. I haven't seen Pandas because I just don't watch other influencers. You guys know Panda he made the kind of content that I liked. I suggested that you guys watch him, and I got some pushback from some of you guys that you guys didn't like his content. I like that kind of content. But in any event, all right, so JPMO, fully capped, underperformed buy and hold by about 30%. Okay. Well, why did we do it? We did it for the $160 or the $45,000 or $46,000. Now, we didn't hang on to that much of it. We didn't know that at the time, right? Right. So we're going to add some convexity. All right. Well, adding some convexity looks like it worked a little better. Now, we have to see if we messed up too much of our income. Don't want to mess up our income. Made about a third less than buy and hold. Still made money. We did it for this $86 or this $24,000 over 3 years. Ended up holding on to a little bit more than a third of that. So good job. Okay, and that's fully capped. Oh no, that's uncapped. Okay, so no, that's right. So uncapped and fully uncapped both underperformed, but uncapped did a little better, but had less income. What would you expect? Lily was the company my granddad worked for. Lulu, Love, Lift, Mara. I mean, they do have a Morrow now, so let's Let's do a fully capped Mara. This is probably going to be pretty ugly. Okay. So fully capped Mara, I said it's going to be ugly, and it was ugly. It underperformed buy and hold, lost money. Let's see what kind of premium we were going for. $88 or $25,000 over 3 years. Didn't end up hanging on to any of it. So now we're gonna see if this helps us buy a little out of the money call. Boom. Okay, fully capped, or I'm sorry, uncapped on Mara is also not great. Underperformed buy and hold. It doesn't look like maybe by quite as much, but anyway, okay, so not great. Not great. Need a stock that goes up. What's the stock that goes up? Meta. Now, Meta is a stock that goes up. Let's fully cap Meta and see how he would have done. All right, fully capped. Look at that, fully capped on Meta. We outperformed buy and hold, although just by a little bit. Pretty good premium. We're going for $150,000 over 3 years. You could support yourself on that, especially if you could hold on to all of it. In this case, they held on to about an eighth of it, exactly an eighth of it, 1/10 less than an eighth. In any event, pretty good. Pretty good, not too bad. I can live on $60 a week, but it could help. So let's add in a buy out of the money call. Now, this stock is a stock that's been up. So this out of the money call just by itself probably would have been profitable by itself, right? Yes. So if we add it into the spread was already profitable. The out of the money call would have been profitable by itself. It's going to be more profitable together. That's my reasoning. Let's see if I'm right. And then that's actually not true. It may not be net more profitable, but it should have more gross profit. But anyway, net profit pays the bills. So uncapped outperformed. Uncapped Meta outperformed. And it looked like it did better than the capped, of course. So let's see how our income was. $253. 72 grand. That's what we're going for. We held on to about a half of it, a little less than half of it. Well, that one worked out nice. Microsoft, Mr. Softy. Oh, Mr. Softy. Let's see how Mr. Softy's doing today. Mr. Softy needs to take hymns, huh? All right, so look at this, fully capped on Microsoft. Would have beat buy and hold by 3 times. That's pretty dang good. Fully capped. You're going for this $368 a week, which is about $106,000 over 3 years. We're actually doing 2 trades a week, one on Monday and one on Thursday to take some path dependency out of it. So I say that's really, but anyway, 2 trades, 360. I mean, that is a week. Anyway, held on to 64 of it, about 17%. Okay. But we outperformed buy and hold by 3 times. Now, let's add in some convexity. Let's add convexity in. We can even add in max convexity if we want. Let's switch this to 2. Let's try that. We'll switch this to 2 and try to add a little extra convexity. See how much better we do. Actually, we'll do 1 first, and then we'll test 1, and then we'll test 2. This will be a max convexity position. Not max, but double convexity. Extra convexity. Extra upside. Mm-hmm. Okay, now look at this. With the added upside, it actually did worse. Well, it just doubled buy and hold instead of tripling buy and hold. So for this one, the covered call spread did a little bit worse. But this is the first one I've seen that the covered call spread's done a little bit worse, but it does happen. The first one that was up big in the covered call spread did worse. On all the ones that are down big, the covered call spread did worse. But I would expect it. So I'm not going to add the double. So that tells me we would probably do even worse if we added more convexity. Let's just try for fun. Let's just do something silly, like just put 5 Let's do something silly, like do 3 contracts. We probably won't get a yield anymore, or not much of one. This would be for somebody that's uber bullish, but even on something like Microsoft that's been fairly bullish, it went from 320 to maybe that's it. Maybe Microsoft hasn't been as wildly bullish as it needs for these strategies to kick in. Microsoft was at 320 a few years ago, 3 years ago, and nowadays it's at 440. So, but look at this. The extra convexity actually, well, it helped and it didn't help. It actually cut our performance. It made us perform just about the same as buy and hold. And the reason we wouldn't add that every time, double or triple, is because we're going for this average premium. If we do it that way, we had to spend premium. This trade cost us. So that's not what we're going for. All right. Let's look at the next one. We've already looked at MicroStrategies, I think. Didn't we do that one at the first? Let's look at Netflix. Fully capped Netflix. Fully capped Netflix did pretty well. But now Netflix is an example, saying this wildly bullish. It was at 614, and now it's up 50%. I know you wouldn't really call that wildly bullish. Underperformed buy and hold by about half, left 50% of the money on the table because we're fully capped. So I would expect that. So let's see how much yield we got. $810 a week. It's $232,000 a year. Held on to a small percentage of that. Let's add in some convexity here. Okay, so with convexity, we left a little bit less money on the table. We didn't leave 50% on the table. Looks like we left 20 or 30% on the table. Let's see how the income side of the equation was. Instead of going for $800, we're going for $400, about half. That's about right, but we held on to a higher percentage of it. Okay. That'll work. I like that. Let's go down here to the next one. Didn't we do Nvidia also? I thought I did Nvidia and MicroStrategies off the start. We can do Nvidia again. Fully capped Nvidia. So since this one has been wildly bullish, I would expect the fully capped to leave a lot of money on the table. I would expect uncapped to work much better on this one because instead of being up 50% over the past 3 years, I bet Nvidia is up, multiples. So yeah, it was trading at, it looks like 20 or 30 a few years ago, and now it's at 120. So it's 4x or whatever. Okay, so I would think you'd leave money on the table this way. 50 grand, yeah, you left 3/4 of your money on the freaking table. But you aren't doing it for upside. You were doing it for the yield, which came out to $800 a month, which is about $250,000. Only held on to about $176 of it. But we'll take it, right? We will damn sure take it. Okay, it just wants me to refresh, but let's run the fully uncapped version. Then we'll even try some max convexity. We'll try a 3-to-1 ratio, and I bet you that does pretty well on Nvidia. Okay, so let's do some uncap. Let's uncap the upside. Okay, so actually uncapped on Nvidia. Well, it did a little bit better. Instead of making 1/4 of capped, it made 1/3 of capped. So it made a little better. Let's see what the income situation was. Instead of 800, you're only earning 400, but you're holding on to 70% of that. So much better. Okay, well, let's go try another one. How about some Palantir and then some PayPal? Fully capped Palantir. We'll see how this one does. Wow. That's not good. To me, that right there is why you don't want to be fully capped. Well, but man, they made up for it at the end. I bet you uncapped would be a lot better. You would think in this last little thing, if you were uncapped here, they should. We'll see though. Okay, so they left a lot of money being capped on the table compared to buy and hold. They left 6 times what they made on the table. Okay, I left 85% of it on the table or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Okay, let's get these guys some convexity. Why don't we? Buy that call. Okay, so yeah, they only left about 2/3 of the money on the table when they uncapped their upside. Just like I said, back they had some tremendous profits. That post-election profit was huge, you know, for $1,500. Let's see if you still made enough income to support your family. Not really, because it was only $23, which is only $6,500 over 3 years, but you held on to a great portion of it. Let's try PP, PayPay, whatever. Fully capped in PP, looks like PP. Doubled, well, not double. It performed 50% worse than buy and hold. So let's get these guys some upside. Okay, so with convexity added, you still lost about 1/3. It's exactly 1/3 more, so it's about the same. So you were leaving 2/3 on the table the other way. Oh, this way you just left 1/3 on the table. No, this way is better, believe it or not. I mean, $77 a trade, didn't hang on to any of it. So even uncapped, even though it did better, it's still not great. So let's try something else. Let's try something else. Roku, Starbucks, Shop, Silver. I bet this one's ugly. All right, so SMCI looks very poor. I mean, the only thing you can say about it is it didn't do as bad as buy and hold. So what do you think? If we add in some convexity, will it help us here or not? I'm going to say not. We're going for a large amount of premium, $1,300. Didn't hang on to any of it. Let's add in some convexity. I don't think you can solve this problem. You can see it did a little better with the convexity, and for a while. It did a lot. It didn't do near as bad as buy and hold, just by virtue of the options you were selling on the way down. Let's try Snowy. Snowy, fully capped Snowy. Well, that doesn't look great. Lost a little bit more than buy and hold. I didn't check the yield, but oh well. All right. Well, lost about 1/3 more than buy and held. So that's even with the extra call. So let's see. Tesla. We'll try some Tesla. How do you think fully capped Tesla would have done? Left about half the money on the table. Or no, They lost money, and buy and held made money. So that was not good. Convexity, I think, would definitely should help in Tesla. Especially that call option you held right after the election. Can you imagine how much that call option would be worth at the end of that week after election week? Ooh. Didn't do quite as bad. Did a little bit better than the other way. Trying to make this $500 a week. Held on to about a fifth of that. Not too bad. I think the extra convexity definitely wins out on Tesla. It did a little better. Let's see what else. All right, so let's do some on some indexes here. Let's do a fully capped. I think you'll see why I like indexes better when you see this. The results are more consistent on indexes, a lot more consistent on indexes. You don't have as many way high highs, as many way low lows. This is fully capped, running a weekly covered call program on the SPX. Even fully capped, it'll do fine. I think it'll do better uncapped, but it should do fine fully uncapped because it's an index. Yeah, of course. Beat the freaking fully capped, beat the parent. Fully capped and beat the parent because it's an index. Indexes is more, they have more regular movement, more predictable movement. They're also super liquid. These options you can get in and out better, more efficiently. Okay, so now let's add in some convexity to it and see if we can watch it do even better. We'll watch it do even better. Yeah, this is the reason why I like index. This is one of the reasons why I like indexes so much. Better to trade, easier to trade, more predictable. You just have one thing to learn instead of 40 things to learn. Why do you think I latched right onto Defiance? Because they do 3 indexes. I saw what YieldMax was doing, and I was like, yeah, it's too risky for me. But Defiance is doing, it's good stuff. And Defiance was good stuff before Jay changed the freaking formula. Okay, so on the uncapped index, yes, it beat buy and hold. It doubled buy and hold, so it even did better. Now, let's see. The reason you're doing that is to support yourself. You're bringing in $1,700 a week. It's $500,000 over 3 years. Now, you only held on to about a third of that $1,700, but that's $500 a week. That's not bad, right? Not bad for me. I mean, it could help. Let's try another index. Let's try the old, what other index should we try? Let's try we want to try the Qs. I bet the Qs works pretty well. We'll try IWM and the Qs. Fully capped Qs. Cover call strategy on the Qs over the past 3 years. Okay, so the Qs leave some money on the table doing a covered call. Not much, but about 36, 8, 2, yeah, 33%. All right, let's see if we can do a little better. We added some convexity. You buy that call. We did do a little better. We matched buy and hold. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Let's see if we made enough money to support our family. $200 a week. Held on to about 17% of that. Not too bad. Let's try IWM, which is Russell. Fully capped Russell. I'm getting bored. I want to play that guitar. All right, fully capped Russell is beat buy and hold. 1,200 compared to 300. See what kind of income you could get off Russell. $222 a week. Hold on to a very small percentage of that, but it still beat buy and hold. So how do you think we'll do if we add in a little convexity? I'm going to say since Russell wasn't that wildly bullish, that the convexity is not going to help us, might even hurt us. All right, so did the convexity help or hurt? It hurt. It hurt. And that's kind of what I said. The stock, the underlying, wasn't bullish enough. IWM went from 218 to 218, right? Yeah, 223. It's gone straight sideways. They always say that a straight sideways market is a perfect case for a covered call. That last example just showed it, because this is a straight sideways market. The covered call tripled buy and hold. The covered call spread, because it's a straight sideways market, and so in the covered call spread, we're looking for more upside. More upside didn't materialize. It's like putting the solar panels on the roof and then it's cloudy. It's not the call spread's fault. It's the underlying's fault. So here's the solution to making a lot of money in these. You only buy the high yield funds in the best underlines. In the underlines are going to be up 4 or 5x, over the next 3 years, like Nvidia and VDY. The problem with that theory was, if you knew it was going to be up 4 or 5 times over the next 3 years, you could just leverage those bets. And so the thing is, we don't know. The covered call and the covered call spread can be a good alternative for generating income when you don't know the direction. It still doesn't guarantee you're going to come out ahead. Really, nothing does. You need the market to cooperate. Like I always say, you guys tell me what's going to go up, and I'll tell you what to do with it. I'll tell you how we're going to maximize the gain on it. We'll get max convexity on it somehow. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all. You have a good day.